Hello, I'm the Toycat and welcome back to the video. So one of my favourite things to do on this channel is to give out tips, and given that TU43 has just come out, most of my focus has been on the various new items that came with this update. However, there's been a lot of tips that haven't necessarily been able to fit into other videos, and I think it'd be cool to collect like 7 of these together and share with you 7 of my favourite little handy TU43 tricks that might just help you out in when playing survival in future. So yeah, hopefully you do all enjoy this video about some handy survival TU43 tricks. If you do all like it, like the video and let me know because it helps out the channel and lets me know you do like these sorts of videos. But with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the first of these handy tips, which is to one of my favourite TU43 items, which has to be the Frostwalker boots. So yeah, Frostwalker boots, as you can see I have on right now, are really cool, not just because you can use them to create your frosted ice, but because of the weird parameters around that frosted ice. The first of which being the fact that, by the way, fun fact you might not have known, you can actually pick up frosted ice if you need to, just like this. So if you have a silk touch pickaxe, that's what you're going to need, by the way, you can actually turn, pick up frosted ice, and you can, you can pick up frosted ice just like this, and you get yourself a third variety of ice that's different from regular ice, it's different to packed ice. It's got this kind of weird property where it lasts exactly like it would have if you placed it yourself, which is really strange, especially during the day. But if you turn the time to night, or if you wait till night, the really cool thing about frosted ice that you might not know is the fact that, this is the second tip by the way, is the fact that it actually won't, it won't unfreeze over, which means that if you want to, you can freeze an entire ocean if you do so entirely at night. So just like that, you can see this entire pool of water, besides where the boats are currently sitting, is entirely frozen now, and all of that water down there, besides that one little source, is now just entirely gone, which is really cool if you ask me. The fact that you can freeze over an entire ocean. By the way, that rainbow book can look so cool today. But yeah, you can freeze over an entire ocean, and it won't actually unfreeze till day. And the other cool thing about this is it means you can have builds which only last during night, because if you place frosted ice outside the water, it will stay just fine during the night, but if you leave it for long enough, then during the day eventually, and then we turn it to day, eventually it will melt. So yeah, if you want to have a nighttime only build, then you can do that using frosted ice. If you want to freeze an entire ocean, just go at nighttime, and yeah, frosted ice is gathered with the silk touch pickaxe like I have right here, which I think is really cool, and I'm going to wait a little bit and then come back, because that's going to melt, and you'll be like, that's kind of interesting. So let's move on to the next little handy tip for this update here, which is to do with path blocks, because path blocks are one of the really cool blocks in this update, which if you don't know, you can make by left triggering with your shovel, or any shovel on your fast like that, and just like that, we've got ourselves some pathway blocks. So a lot of people like combining pathway blocks with other blocks to make this kind of weird pattern texture thing. I don't know why I think too much about that, but the interesting thing about path blocks you might notice is it's actually only 15/16 of a block too. So yeah, when you place it next to grass or any other solid block, so let's say you place it next to prismarine for instance, you're going to see just like that there is a slight difference in height, and you can even see it when you walk over it. It's a very tiny one, but it does exist. Anyway, why is this so interesting? Well, this can be used for quite a few different things, but my favourite one that I've seen is using it to actually, hide buttons or levers, because if you have something like this, for instance, as you can see, you can't see anything, but behind one of these blocks is actually a button or a lever, and the way we can activate it is by pressing that, and then pressing like through the wall just like this. Actually, there's the button. So pressing through the wall just like this, and you can see it's a really hard press to do, but it means we can activate this using a very secret little thing that, again, most people don't know it's going to exist, because most people don't think, oh, there's a wall there, better, activate it with like this, but you can actually see through the wall when you do stuff like that, which is really cool if you ask me. So yeah, you can hide stuff by making it so you have to use a path block to do that, and that's kind of an interesting little thing, and you can stop people from making path blocks in a kind of handy way by either having, coarse dirt, something that won't be turned into a thing like that, or just using regular dirt like that, and hoping grass doesn't spread, because you cannot turn dirt into path blocks. You have to wait till it turns into grass, which I find kind of interesting personally, and is really handy for doing little secret stuff. So yeah, secret stuff can be done with the pathway block, and I think it's pretty cool personally. So let's move on to the next one here, which is going to be to do with your banners, because banners will actually stack on top of each other. Again, something that a lot of people don't realize, because yeah, banners have a lot of weird interactions with each other, and one of those interactions is being able to stack on top of each other. So I really like it from this side, because you can see like banner, but basically yeah, you can stack banners on top of banners, and it's really interesting, not just because you can make these giant banner stacks, but also because if you remove the bottom layers of them, you can make banners fall down for everyone. So just like that, now, it's raining banners, a la Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. You get the point, but yeah, that's something you can do now with banners, because yeah, banners will stack on top of each other, but just like signs or anything that needs to be on top of something else, if you remove one of them, you remove all of them, which means, again, I feel like there's a cool raining banner sequence to be had, and you could stack them all the way up to sky height and just make like banners fall everywhere. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but I think it would be really, really interesting, and I think having British flags fly everywhere is pretty cool personally, and maybe you do too. So let's move on to the fifth little trick for TU43, which is to do with the Nether wart block. So the Nether wart block, or red gravel as I like to call it, is really, really handy because it's great for making everything around it just look amazing. Like, look at this right here. It's a pig, and like, oh yeah, it's just a normal pig. But then look at the pig when you compare it to the gravel on the red Nether wart block. You're like, wow, that pig is so artistic. It looks like it should be in an art museum. And if you agree with that, then obviously all you have to do is use a lot of red gravel, use it in comparison with normal gravel, and you get just amazing looking builds. But in all seriousness, yeah, this is a block that it's really easy to get, and you can probably use it for something nice, like a pool of blood or something. I don't know what its proper purpose is, but you could probably use it for something, and the texture might just help you out. Maybe this pig is like just murdered another pig, and that's why it's like that. Again, you can work out the backstory. I can just tell you that I like that. I like how good it makes other blocks look, and that's pretty interesting to me personally. And yeah, let's move on to the sixth little tip for TU43 that I have to give, which is to do with food, because saturation matters so much more now. It's something I've been saying about for the longest time, but now it actually matters in a more serious way that everyone can recognize. And if you're curious as to why it matters more, basically your saturation is what determines if you will regenerate or if you will not, which means that I'm going to try and find somewhere to fall off over here. So like, let's climb up here maybe. And then, like, stack. Okay, yeah, let's do this. So, let's take a tiny bit of... Actually, we need a lot of full damage. So, yeah, we have a staircase just... okay, I'm just gonna quickly, jump onto something, fall off it a few times, and take some damage. And then I'll show you how fast you can regenerate using the golden carrot. Because the golden carrot basically got a massive buff here, because it is the food of the highest saturation. And most people didn't even really care about it before this update. So, we're gonna do this a few times, just to get our, our health down, because this is the closest thing I can find that I can hurt myself on. Yeah, basically, the golden carrot got a giant buff in this update. And if you're fighting a boss or anything tricky, always bring golden carrots, because they're so much better now. Because let me show you how fast you regenerate if you eat your golden carrot. So just like that, we're going to eat 2 of these to get all the way up to max hunger, and look how fast that happens. So yeah, for this to happen, you need to have max hunger, and you need to have spare saturation, which means either you eat like high quality food like steak, pork chops, or if you want the very best, fast regeneration like that, look how fast they went back up, use golden carrots. Golden carrots, like I said, they got a massive buff basically, because they essentially have regeneration on them, like a golden apple does, but, obviously they take way less gold to use, and they're also one of the best foods in the game otherwise. Even if you just want to like not be hungry for the longest, the golden carrot is the best, and that's why I eat them during all these videos, but now they're even better because they help you regenerate much faster for much longer too. Yeah, it's basically a buff to the golden carrot, and it's pretty useful to know about. So yeah, that is the sixth little tip for TU43 that you might not have previously known about. I think it's a really handy one personally, and that's why I shared it with you. So let's move on to the next one here, or the final one, the seventh little tip, which is to do with getting enchantments, because a lot of people want mending on their fishing rods, or people want mending on lots of different things, because unlike Frostwalker, where you generally want it on one pair of boots, mending is an enchantment you might want on lots of things. You might want mending armor, you might want a mending fishing rod, you might want a mending bow, you might want all these things, and if you want mending on lots of things, because there's 3 different ways to get it. You can either find it naturally, you can go fishing for it, or you can trade with villagers. If you are trying to get lots of copies of mending, or you're just worried that you want to get another one because you'll die or something, then make sure you don't go fishing or something like that, because that'll take a lot of... Look, that'll take a lot of time or something like that, but instead what you want to focus on is you want to focus on the trading with villagers. So the reason this is so key for enchanted books is because you can get multiple copies of it every time you find it. So just like this, if we had a book anyway, let's find a book, because I'm sure we can go in here, and we can just borrow one of the books from the library. It'll be entirely fine. But yeah, just like this, I'm going to show you, so let's go out there, that even though we get a book from this villager, it's not mending, but it's, I think it's unbreaking. Yeah, we get unbreaking from this villager. As you can see, we've got the book, but we still have the ability to buy another copy, and we can buy several, we can buy Silk Touch now too. Okay, let's do that, I guess. We can now, you can buy several copies of each book from a villager, and yeah, this is really, really handy, because if you want mending on all your armor, so not just your chest plate, but all 4 sets, you can do that using this handy using trading, but you can't do it with the other forms of it. And yeah, the really handy tip here is what I'm just trying to say is, if you want to get something over and over again as opposed to just the one time, trade with a villager. If you want it the one time, it might be faster to fish, or it might be faster to, go looking for it naturally. But villagers are just the best way to get lots and lots of copies, and that's why I locked mine up in this little thing under the stairs there, just so he can never get away and he has to trade me forever and ever. So yeah, I hope you did all enjoy this video about, 7 different tips for TU43. If you did all like it, like the video and let me know, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like these sorts of videos. Share the video if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.